Hello and welcome back. In a recent series of videos I looked at the type of equipment you'd take with you on an extended photographic trip, including the camera gear and especially the laptop and associated bits and pieces you need. And following that trip and having nearly 12 months of usage of this particular laptop, I thought it's time to do a little bit more of a detailed review. And as always, all of the equipment that I use has been purchased with my own money. I don't get paid to make these videos, and these opinions are mine and mine alone. And in this video we're going to have a look at detail at what I think is great about this particular laptop, and there are a couple of caveats, a couple of things I'm not so enthused about, but if you stick through to the end I will give you an honest review and really explain the features that I like about this particular laptop. So the one that I purchased is called a Venom Blackbook 015, and it comes in a variety of specifications. And if you look at the website, Venom Computers, which is an Australian company, and these computers, while the components are made overseas, they are assembled in Australia. So if you're an Australian, it's a good idea to try and support Australian industries. But that's not the main reason why I bought this laptop. This is my third Venom laptop. I previously used two other laptops for business use and found them to be really good. But when it came to reviewing and deciding on a laptop to take away on a photographic trip, I wanted something a little more lightweight, and I decided to update. My old laptop was 5 years old, and one of the beauties of dealing with a company like Venom is that they actually gave me a trade-in on my old laptop, and I've never seen that anywhere else. But enough of that. What are the features that we really like about this particular laptop? Well, one of the things that's important in taking equipment away on a trip is trying to keep the weight down and make it more compact and lightweight. And one of the trends we've seen of late with the major computer manufacturers is that they reduce the number of accessories and ports and so forth that they provide for you. And this is a Dell laptop, which is typical of the types of laptops you have today. And they only provide you with 2 ports in total. And one of those can be taken up by the charger if you're needing to run it on mains power, which means that potentially you're trying to run a mouse, an external hard drive and maybe a card reader all through the one port, and it really slows the performance down. So it's nice to see a manufacturer that takes these things into consideration and provides a lot of additional functionality with their computer. So let's have a little bit more of a detailed look at this, and I'll explain what I really like about it. And there are a couple of things that I'm not so enthused about, but overall I think it's an exceptionally good laptop. So let's start with the features I really like about this laptop. As I mentioned, it's lightweight. It weighs a fraction over 1.7 kilograms. It offers good performance. It has an i7 processor with 32 gig of RAM and a 1 terabyte solid state drive. So it's pretty snappy, and it can handle processing large files with ease. And typically the raw files that I'm downloading from my camera are in the region of 60 megabytes each, and combined with the card reader and the ports that are available, it really performs well when downloading and handling files. The form factor is a little bit different from the other laptops that I've looked at. It is slightly wider and more in line with the 16:9 ratio for a television set. And that allows us to have a decent sized keyboard with a numeric keypad included, and the keypads are in fact illuminated when you work on the computer. If you're working in lower light, that's a bonus to have an illuminated keyboard, but everything works well. And the main thing that really of interest here is the number of ports. It has a separate power feed-in point, so you're not taking out one of your valuable ports with the power provision. We've got 2 USB-C ports. One is a Thunderbolt port, so it's used for charging devices as well. And you've got 2 USB Type A, an HDMI port, an Ethernet, and a micro SD card slot. Now, one of the things that maybe some people are not that enthused about is the micro SD card. Not a lot of people use those. I do with my drone, and so that's quite a handy thing to have. Typically some other machines use a standard SD card slot. So that's not a major problem. Let's have a look at those ports and we'll discuss the benefits of that. So taking a quick look at the ports on the laptop. Firstly, on the left hand side we have the power adapter, HDMI port, USB type A, two USB type C ports, one of which is Thunderbolt. And on the right hand side you have a Kensington lock port, full-size Ethernet port, power on off switch, USB type A, which I have my mouse connected to, a micro SD card reader, and a combination headphone microphone jack. So all in all, plenty of ports to enable you to plug in all of your devices without having to resort to a hub or other device that's going to slow down the data transfer. And finally, in addition to all of those extra ports, when you buy one of these computers, they also provide a spare power pack so that you have two. I have one set up permanently in my home office and the other one stays with me for travelling, and that's a real benefit. And finally, they also provide a backup USB drive with Windows 11 to enable you, if anything goes seriously wrong and you have to reinstall Windows, you've got a USB drive there to take it back to the default settings. So all in all, lots of options and lots of additional benefits thrown in. So a few other things that I like about this particular laptop. As I said, it's performed extremely well during the time that I've been using it. And a couple of other things. With the SSD, with the operating system, it's quick to boot up and it offers really good performance. Now, it has a claimed very long battery life. I've never really had an issue with that. I've nearly always used it plugged into the mains power when I'm downloading and working on photographs. But certainly when I've run it on its battery alone, it's proven to be more than adequate. The colour calibration of the monitor is fine. Obviously you need to use an external device to set the colour calibration correctly, and that seems to work fine. There's no issue with that. And in terms of storage space, as I said, it's a 1 terabyte SSD. So far that I have installed on this machine, I have Lightroom Classic, Photoshop, DaVinci Resolve, some video recording software, some Topaz software, and so forth. There's quite a lot of software installed, and that's taking up about 350 gigabytes of space on the laptop, which leaves quite a lot of space. And that 350 gigabytes includes about 2,000 to 2,500 raw files from our trip to Scotland, and there's heaps of room then obviously for if you were on a longer trip or downloading more photographs. You've got heaps of room still on the hard drive to use to back up your images. And I'd probably still be able to fit on another 9,000 or so more images, so heaps of space. As I mentioned, it has a good sized keyboard with Scrabble tile keys, backlit, which is really a big bonus, and everything else works well. Now, when it comes down to a couple of things that I'm not so enthused about, the first one is the sound quality from the included speakers is not the best I've had. It's adequate, but it's not outstanding. But for what my purpose is really for working on photographs while I'm travelling, it's not an issue for me. And when I've used it for making presentations and so forth, obviously I'm connecting to a projector and external speakers, so it's not really an issue. And the other thing that is maybe not quite so ideal is that when the laptop's working hard, such as working on a large Photoshop file, the cooling fan can kick in and can be a little bit noisy, but it's really only noisy while it's running hard, while you're working the machine hard, but at least the machine performs well, and you know, we can put up with a little bit of extra fan noise. But overall, I would say that this is probably the best laptop I've ever had. It's extremely lightweight, it's robust, it performs well, and for a photographer travelling, this is about as good as it can get. In terms of price-wise, comparing with other laptops, depending on the configuration and the specification, it's certainly competitive with other laptops on the market. So if you're in the market for a new laptop and you're a photographer like me, certainly take a look at Venom computers and investigate, because they offer a good product at a good price and with good backup to follow. Even though they're a relatively small company, they're certainly very good on their support. So thanks for watching. I hope that's been helpful for you, and I'll see you again soon.